In our times, somehow, true happiness seems to have become as elusive as that butterfly we run after to catch. Almost there, but not quite, isn't it? Everything is amazing, but nobody is happy. We have more choices than we ever did, but lesser satisfaction. Far more networks, but fewer real connections. Between an infinite loop of experiencing relief on closing one deadline and the stresses of the next one, something doesn't feel right, isn't it? And while we keep telling ourselves that perhaps we're almost there, one promotion away, just the next increment, or maybe the next public recognition, there is a nagging feeling that none of it ever leads to the state of content. None of it feels happy. It's this feeling that we'd learn to constantly ignore in ourselves and telling others to ignore that has now started surfacing in a terrifying way. The WHO put India as the most depressed country in the world last year. One youngster is committing suicide every hour. 4 out of 10 corporate employees are afflicted with either depression or anxiety disorders. Something's waiting to happen. It's either a disaster or complete transformation. So how do we transform before it gets late? The magic question that all of us ask: how can we make our employees happier? Fortunately, there is a scientific answer. And the even better news is it's an answer that can be inculcated. Happiness stands on 2 pillars. Building the first pillar ensures that when you laugh with colleagues, you truly are joyful. It ensures that that meeting that had a disastrous outcome maybe doesn't affect your family get-together just after. Building this pillar is all about how we become more emotionally aware and learn to regulate ourselves in every moment that passes. How we become more present in the present. And the process of becoming positively present can be achieved by working on building our emotional intelligence a little more every day. But just learning to be positive isn't the same as being a truly happy person. And so the bridge is the second pillar, which ensures that just like you do it for your own organization, you understand your own life's vision, mission, and values that you invest your positivity towards. If you've had a kid or been in a relationship that feels eternal, you've probably already sensed a little of what this pillar means. Because it's the realization of these goals over and above the first pillar of building moment-to-moment positivity that gives life complete happiness. How then do we build these 2 pillars in us? How then do we pave the way for real happiness? Unfortunately, the answer isn't a motivational talk away. And no matter what that framework the speaker may apply to convince you otherwise, maybe, happiness is always less about the intellect and more about the experience and practice. As a kid, when your mom told you about how dangerous fire is, you didn't understand it till you touched it, right? Or for that matter, the sting of that bee. Similarly, building the 2 pillars is achieved only when real experiences bring about realizations. For if an alien read about the taste of chocolate cakes, it still wouldn't make sense to him till he took at least one bite of it. In our happiness workshops, we make your employees take the first bite of the happiness cake to build in them the realization of what a happiness practice is and how it can transform their lives and that of their families. And while all participants receive all required tools and a routine to practice realizing the entire happiness cake, the workshop also shows results immediately because at the end they realized that they're more than just a human doing work. They are a human being happy.